6 unbeaten in all competitions might not sound like bad form, but today we try and make it go one step further to winning our first silverware for this season. Plus, we need to try and stop the rot away from home in the Premier League. But it's not going to be easy. Join me and find out why. Hello, and it's a very warm welcome to episode 34 of Irons in the Fire as we try and make West Ham good and great again. My name's Mark, and on today's episode we have games for you in the Carabao Cup quarter-final at home to Aston Villa, who our recent record isn't particularly splendid against. And then we go to Anfield again. A difficult job as we try and stop the rot in the Premier League away from home, that is. And Liverpool isn't really necessarily the side away from home that you want to meet when you're trying to stop a little bit of a wobble in that particular thing. Don't forget, if you do enjoy today's video, leave me a big thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification button, leave me a comment, let me know what you think of the series so far and what you'd like to see me to do in the future. But in the meantime, let's have a look and see what's been happening since you were last with us. Actually, the other thing I should have said is don't forget to keep up to date with everything that's going on here on the channel. The best way of doing it is to follow me on Twitter at JustOffsideFM. Right, having said all of that, let's have a look. Since you were last with us, we have played one game. That game at home to Crystal Palace. Yeah, we've had 2 games on the trot in the Premier League at home. Away games coming up. Last time you was with us, Brentford, a 6-1 trouncing of Brentford at the London Stadium. Then we had RB Leipzig, which we only managed to squeeze a draw out of. And then Crystal Palace came to visit. And, James Ward-Prowse from the penalty spot after 32 minutes. And then Gerard Bowen after 46. Ben Johnson coming down the wing, as Ben Johnson does. Crossed that ball in, and it was met by Gerard Bowen. And that gave us a second goal and effectively the 2-0 win. They had 9 shots, 4 on target, 1.22, 55% of the possession. We have 15 shots, 9 on target, 3.03 and 45% of the possession. That seems to be a trademark of late. We're not really hitting the getting the bulk of the possession, and teams are beating us on possession more than anything. So that has left us 4th in the Premier League table. This is how it looks. Manchester City top on 43. Arsenal in 2nd on 36. Then come Aston Villa, who lost their last game to Manchester United on 34 points. We are now 1 point behind Aston Villa on 33. Then come Manchester United and Nottingham Forest, both on 31. Liverpool, who we play in our second game of the episode, are 7th on 30 points. And then come Chelsea, just outside the European places on 26. And then as we work our way down in the bottom at the moment, Burnley, who are in touching distance of safety, just need to keep their form up. They've won 2 in the last 5, which is better than what they were doing. Wolves and Brighton, the other sides, not doing particularly well at the moment. So that's where we are. We'll just quick check in on the medical centre. Raul de Thomas is out for another 12 to 4 weeks. Parisi is due back in the next 10 days, which is good news. So we should have him back for the next episode. He's not going to be back for this episode, but he will be back for the next episode, which is splendid news. Right, I don't think there's too much else to tell you. Well, there is one other thing to tell you, actually. As it stands, we have a lot of players that are likely to want to be leaving come the transfer window, and we're getting ever closer. We're on the 18th of December, and as I say, there are a number of them that are looking to leave. I'm trying to find them now. Benrahma, that's not so much of an issue. Danny Ings, again, not so much of an issue. Who else is looking to go. Mbamba is looking to offload. We're looking at some of the bigger players. Let's just sort this again, because it's not happening yet for some reason or other. Auto size all columns. There we go. We are in sorted order. There are a number of players that I've seen come up on. There we go. Ben Johnson, for instance. Ollie Watkins. Newcastle want him. Mavropanos. Al Nassr. Looking like they want to steal half our squad. Alvarez. Souček. Real Madrid are after him. So there are a number of players that we're going to have to look at with a view to potentially hanging on to going into the transfer window. Some of these down here I'm not too bothered about, but certainly up there we don't want to lose that wodge of players there unless we've got replacements that are better than they already are, of course. If we can do that, then and improve the team to boot, then that's what we will go ahead and do. Excuse me. Right then, it's quarter-final time in the Carabao Cup. Aston Villa are our opponents today. They have no team news. We have Parisi out with a twisted ankle and De Thomas out with a hip injury. We've played them 4 times this series. We've beaten them 3 times. Lost last time out at Villa Park by a 1-0 on that occasion. Firmino was the scorer. Prior to that, we have beat them here at the London Stadium. A 2-0. Creswell and Ings on that occasion. And of course, we beat them in the FA Cup semi-final. We went on to win last year. De Thomas and Bowen, the scorers on that occasion. Can we get another result against them today? Let's go and find out. But before we do, let's just have a quick update on what's happened in the first 2 matches of these quarterfinals. Brentford have beaten Tottenham by 1-0. Payaxo after 76 minutes. And then Bournemouth have been beaten, although they took the lead after 6 minutes through Dominic Solanke, Diallo and Sancho. The scorers pretty much one either side of half-time, giving Manchester United a 2-1 win over Bournemouth. So they're both in the semi-finals. And then it's any 2 from Arsenal, Everton, ourselves and Aston Villa. So let's go and have a look at the team then. Finally, that will play Aston Villa. And here is the side that will face Aston Villa in this Carabao Cup quarter-final. Areola is in goal. Emerson, Friedel, Todibo and Johnson continue as our backline. Emerson, of course, because Parisi is still injured. Souček, Carrera and Zuma in midfield. Samadic is sat behind Kudos with Bowen on the bench today. And Watkins, Mazulia, Mavropanos, Kamada, Ings, Kufal, Paqueta, Benrahma, Alvarez and Bowen make up the bench. And here we are at the London Stadium playing our usual formation. 4-3-1-2. And we face Aston Villa, who are playing a 4-2-3-1. Unai Emery is the manager at Aston Villa. 36 minutes on the clock and a goal kick for Aston Villa. They're playing in white tonight with blue shorts, the same as ours actually. Emerson wins that ball in midfield. He's pushed that ball through to Kudos. Kudos! And well put away by Mohamed Kudos. 3rd goal of the season on 37 minutes. We take a 1-0 lead against Aston Villa. That's a goal better than what we did against them last time out. It's taken a long while to get to here, though. But Kudos run onto that ball and set himself, put it away very nicely. And defensively, Cash, and that's headed forward. But Todibo is there to tidy up Emerson. 39 minutes on the clock. Emerson coming forward. Emerson round his man. Emerson crosses it deep, looking for Zuma. Zuma heads it back across. And Samadic, 9th goal of the season. Question whether he's offside or not. And we'll need to find out. It's a goal. And on 40 minutes, we're 2 up. Emerson sending this ball very deep, looking for Zuma. Zuma heads it back across goal. Oh, Samadic definitely onside. And Samadic getting up, putting it away. 2-0. See it again. There's clarity of the offside ruling. And that's near perfect first half. In my book, we've kept them to just one shot, which wasn't on target. 0.02. They've had a lot of the possession again, though. This is our only issue. We've had 5 shots, 3 on target, 0.81 on the old XG, 42% of the possession. Half time, we've got 1 foot in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. 58 minutes on the clock. That ball in. Kudos has a shot from far out, and Olsen saves it. Aston Villa making 1 change at half time. Olsen, what's he going to do with this one? He launches one. Friedel under that to Samadic, but Samadic can't control the ball, and Aston Villa step in. They'll be looking to get back on the terms sort of relatively early on in this half. Well, that's a poor ball. Johnson picks up on it. Can Johnson do something with this? He can. Gets around his man. He's got to get this into the area. He does. Watkins is there. Watkins with his 17th of the season, and on 60 minutes... in fact, it might even been 59 minutes. We are 3 up. We will check the timing now. There's confirmation of the substitution on the bottom left. Johnson. Lovely ball in. Watkins hits it first time. And it is 59 minutes. And with 66 minutes on the clock, making 2 changes. Kurt Zuma, who is getting tired. He's had a good day out there. Alvarez comes on to replace him. And Ollie Watkins has come off, having scored a goal, and he's done okay. Danny Ings gets some game time. Friedel with a throw-in, a long throw into the area, but well defended. Kudos to Friedel. Cahera now to Friedel. Todibo. Alvarez has just come on into space for Johnson. Johnson crosses this in. Oh, might have come off the woodwork. I'm not sure. Kudos offside. I'll see it again. Kudos just going a little bit too early for this one. Looking for the cross in. There he is. He's offside as it comes in. 72 minutes on the clock. That ball and lost possession there. And Dave Firmino. Goresi has a shot. It's gone wide. And with 75 minutes on the clock, making our final 3 changes all in one go. Friedel moves out. Emerson has come off, and Mavropanos comes on to replace him in the centre of defence. We've also taken off Ben Johnson and replaced him with Soufal. And our final change, Mohamed Kudus, who's had a great game, scored a goal as well. He's replaced by Jarrod Bowen. We are in the 2nd minute of 4 added minutes. And Aston Villa coming forward on attack here. Soufal trying to keep that one out. Ooh, just wide. And there are no more highlights. We've kept a clean sheet, boys and girls. That's the first time for a little while. Kudos after 37. Samadic making it 2-0 at half-time on 40. Ollie Watkins rounding it off on 59 minutes. We have 49% of the possession against their 51. 10 shots, 7 on target, 1.52. They had 4 shots, but not hitting the target at all. 0.31 on their XG. That means there is a semi-final draw for the Carabao Cup coming very shortly. And before we find the draw, let's have a quick roundup of what else happened. As we already know, Brentford beat Tottenham by 1-0. Manchester United beating Bournemouth by 2-1. Arsenal have beaten Everton 3-2, which means that Brentford, Manchester United, Arsenal and ourselves are in the draw for the semi-final of the Carabao Cup 2 legs. We'll find out when they're coming up in just a moment. Right, coming up next then, I think it's the draw for the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. So here we are for the Carabao Cup, a draw for the semi-finals. Just the 4 teams in the draw. It's Arsenal, Brentford, Man United and West Ham ourselves. So who's going to be first out? Arsenal will be at home in the first leg against ourselves. So we will be playing Arsenal in the first semi-final. Means Brentford will meet Manchester United. Who's coming out first? Brentford will play Manchester United. So that is the draw. Arsenal, West Ham, Brentford, Manchester United. Let's go and have a look at how that fits in the schedule. Well, it's not quite as we expected because Bournemouth somehow have got sat in between. So that's how it's all slipped about at the moment. So we'll take it a bit by bit. Of course, we've got today's games, and then Arsenal in the Premier League. We're going to play offline, and it'll be we're going to come back for Manchester City and Brighton, I think it is. Or did we play them earlier in the season? Let's just check. We might have done that earlier in the season, the other way round. So I'm thinking we might come back. Arsenal, just change it around a little bit, albeit we're going to see Arsenal a lot. So maybe we stick with Manchester City and Brighton, Swindon Town and Arsenal in the first leg of the Carabao Cup. Then it'll be Arsenal. We're going to we'll do Bournemouth offline. Then in between, we'll still do Copenhagen as the second game of that episode, and then we'll come back we'll see what happens in the FA Cup, because I think the FA Cup could squeeze in there somewhere and push Nottingham Forest game out again, but we'll feature Sturm Graz in there somewhere. So that's how it's going to play out, which takes us to the key task in hand now. That's the game against Liverpool. We have played them 4 times in this series so far. We've beat them twice. In the Premier League, we beat them at our place 2-1 last season. And then at Anfield, we beat them 2-1 in the Europa League quarter-final first leg, losing out to them overall. Of course, they knocked us out of that competition. Van Dijk, Watkins and Souček, the scorers later on in the game. And then we lost at Anfield in the Premier League back in May towards the end of the season, a 2-1 loss on that occasion. Salah and Jota with a singular reply by Raul de Thomas. In fact, Raul de Thomas gave us the lead, and we capitulated through Salah and Jota. It's not a foregone conclusion. I mean, when you look at the table, if we can have a quick look at the table, one other thing that just to mention, actually, while we do look at the table, is one other game has been played. I'm going to try and get there. Let's have a quick look at the game that was played while we were playing in the Carabao Cup. Manchester City beat Brighton, so they played a game more than everybody else. They have a 10-point lead at the top of the table over Arsenal. Aston Villa 12 points, and we are now 13 points adrift of Manchester City. I think it's not going to be a chance unless something major happens to Manchester City that we are going to catch them this season. They've not lost yet. So there's always a first time for everything. Maybe in the next episode. Who knows? What I was actually going to do was have a look at the form. Arsenal won 5 of their last. Liverpool. They've only won 2 of their last 5. Drawn 2 and lost 1. We have won 3, drawn 1 and lost 1. Form-wise, we are the better side going into this. But then the game is at Anfield. And here is the team that faces Liverpool in this Premier League match day in 19 or 18. I'm not sure. I think it's 18 actually. So the team looks like this. Areola in goal, then Emerson, Zuma, Todibo and Soufal making up our defensive line. Souček, Ward-Prowse and Alvarez are in midfield. Samadic sits behind Bowen and Watkins, who are up front. Mazulia, Mavropanos, Kahera, Johnson, Kamada, Skulls, Paqueta, Kudos and Ings all on the bench. So here we are at Anfield. As I said, they've won their last 2 matches though, drawn 2 and lost 1, playing a 4-3-3 with a defensive midfielder. We've won 3 of our last 5, drawn the other 2, and we're playing our usual formation, of course. We are 4th on 33. They are 7th on 30 points. Could overtake us today if they win. Our job is to try and stop them. 7-8 minutes on the clock. Alvarez with the throw-in. There's a poor one. Salah through to Gakpo. And every Liverpool attack is dangerous. But Souček saving that one from Salah. Back to Areola. Areola launches a long one. And I don't think those are the sort of balls that are going to win it today. They have a very tall defence. Oh, Luis Diaz is around. McAllister is there in midfield. Gomez, McAllister, Calibra. And it's gone for a corner. Areola saving that one. Going in the top corner. Shubajal crosses that deep. And Areola collects. They have a corner now. Shubajal crosses that deep. Sort of headed clear. Zuma not quite getting there. Diaz always come back off the woodwork. And Alvarez picks the ball up and comes forward. Can we get them on the counter? Alvarez holding the ball up. He has Samadic inside him. Samadic, who has got a knock. We have a corner now. Ward-Prowse with an in-swinger. Swung in. Is a penalty, possibly. What was the cause of that? It is a penalty, as I said. I've not seen one. Handball. In fact, Van Dijk put his arm out. And I think this could be Ward-Prowse, possibly. It is Ward-Prowse with the penalty. And he's put it away past Alisson. We take the lead on 43 minutes. His 3rd goal of the season. Ward-Prowse, of course, out for quite a while with an injury. Cruciate ligament injury. He's back and he's scoring. Emerson with the throw-in now. Bowen brings that down. Poor ball by Bowen, but Emerson tidies up. Emerson into space. Samadic. Samadic crossed it in. Bowen! And a save by Alisson. I think that was going in. Samadic with an in-swinger to the near post, but nobody there. Bowen tidies up. Has Soufal in support. We'll see again the Bowen chance that Alisson saved. Oh, point blank range. And half time has arrived. We have that lead. In fact, we were better in that. We picked up a bit of possession. We were quite low early on. And we did pick up 6 shots, 5 on target, 1.53, 46% of the possession. 3 shots, 1 on target, 0.24 and 54% of the possession. Well, so far, we've got our noses in front. Can we keep them there? 48 minutes on the clock. Areola with a goal kick out to Emerson. No changes at half time. And Emerson comes forward, crosses that ball deep looking for Watkins. It's cut out by Gomez, but Watkins is there, does pick the ball up eventually. It's back to Todibo. Todibo through to Watkins again. Watkins cuts inside. Looking for Souček. Souček and a Bowen. Bowen! 13th goal of the season. Question if he's offside. I think he may have been. It is disallowed. He was offside. Unfortunate. It was well put away. Watkins. Souček. Yeah, there he is. Just a little bit too early. We have a corner. Ward-Prowse with the corner. On that far side, swings it in, but Alisson is there to collect. Ball launched forward, and Gakpo heads it down, but Souček steps in. It's a couple of times seen him doing very defensive work today, and very well too. Oh, Emerson overrun that. Zuma, back out to Emerson. Emerson, playing as a complete wing back. He's gone all the way back to Areola. Todibo through to Alvarez. Alvarez comes forward. Alvarez has Watkins there. Watkins to Soufal. Soufal, can he get this ball into the box? Soufal. It's out wide. It's got Alvarez in support. Back to Soufal. Crosses it deep. Souček! It's in the goal. 9th goal of the season. And on 55 minutes, we go 2 up. And boys and girls, this isn't running quite to what I expected. Not that I'm complaining, of course. I just would not complain at all. And that was a lovely ball back in. Souček putting it away. And with 66 minutes on the clock, we're going to make 2 changes. Thomas Souček, who's had a splendid game. Unfortunately, we're going to have to take him off. He has tired very, very substantially. Samadic is going to come off very shortly as well, I think, because it says he wants to stay on butt injury. And up until now, he's not been too bad, but he is starting to tire, I notice now. And we don't want to increase that injury if there is not, though it's not showing up on here as being injured, which it should do if it was a big issue. So anyway, Thomas Souček off. We brought on Lucas Paqueta in his place, and we've also Jarrod Bowen again not responding. We brought on Mohamed Kudus in his place, and with 18 minutes on the clock, making 2 more changes. Edson Alvarez is off. He's tired. And we've brought on Carrera to replace him. And our other change that we've made is Lazar Samadic, also tired and possible injury. We've replaced him with Dulce Kamada. Free kick for Liverpool. And they've made a number of changes as well. Van Dijk. So they come forward. Luis Diaz into the area. And that's gone wide. And before we see the corner, 86 minutes on the clock, and we are making our final change. It's Ben Johnson coming on the left-hand side for Emerson, who is also very, very tired. The other thing I think we're going to do is we're going to make Ward-Prowse into ask him to defend. And I think what we might also do is drop Soufal back to support option. And leave it at that for now. So corner it is then. Ben Johnson on for Emerson. It's swung in. It's headed over. But Areola collects it from underneath the crossbar. And with 87 minutes coming up, we have that 2-goal lead. Going to see the opportunity again. All change. Luis Diaz crossed it in and... Well, I think our away day hoodoo is over, boys and girls. We've kept our 2nd clean sheet in a row, and we've beaten the Liverpool at Anfield by 2-0. A penalty by James Ward-Prowse and a goal by Thomas Souček on 55 minutes has given us a win. 11 shots, 7 on target, 1.93, 46% of the possession. And they had 8 shots, just the 2 on target. 0.99 and 54% of the possession. Let's go and see how that leaves us in the table. But we've not had a bad day. So here we are. Here's a full day at the office with regards to games. And I see Manchester City have played again, which is quite interesting. So they've played a game more than anybody else. But the other results that have come in, Aston Villa starting to hit a bit of a brick wall. They've lost 2-1. Arsenal continue their recent good form against Brentford. 3-0 win against them. Bournemouth are getting a win against Wolves, who are in the relegation zone, of course. Burnley losing again to Manchester United 5-2. That's not good. Chelsea 1, Everton 1. Liverpool, of course, losing to ourselves by 2-0. Manchester City beating Leeds 4-1. Nottingham Forest beating Tottenham. Tottenham are in a terrible pace. They are down in 14th with only 19 points. They're not doing well at all. Crystal Palace beating Norwich 2-0 and Brighton losing to Leicester 3-0. So the table looks like this. Manchester City on top, 49 points, 10 points clear. They have played a game in hand, though, over Arsenal on 39. We are in 3rd on 36. Manchester United, there's a 2-point gap to Manchester United, Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest, all on 34. Then come Liverpool in 7th place, 6 points behind us. And then some 9 points to Chelsea, just outside of the European places, on 27 points, along with Crystal Palace. Burnley, Wolves and Brighton are currently in that drop zone as it stands. Right, we're going to play Arsenal offline. That could be a tough match in itself, but if we can beat them, we could possibly close the gap on them. We're coming to come back for Manchester City and Brighton in the next episode. Manchester City running away with it yet again. Brighton are in second. We're at the Etihad for that one, aren't we? Yes, oh, great. And then Brighton, and then we're going to play Swindon and Arsenal. FA Cup third round and Carabao Cup semi-final first leg. I hope you will join me for those. Right, well, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Not anything that you really couldn't enjoy, I guess. If you have, don't forget to leave me that big thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification button to keep you up to date with all future episodes of Irons in the Fire and other series, bottom to the top, of course. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of the series so far and what you'd like me to see me do next. And if you want me to do any how-to videos, I do have a couple that I do need to record. The planning stage is done. I just need to get round to recording them. New episodes of Irons in the Fire will be released every Monday and Thursday at 4:15 p.m. And the best way of keeping up to date with what's happening on this channel is to follow me on Twitter at JustOffsideToo. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you for the next episode. It'll be episode 35. It's out on Thursday. Until then, have a good week. Bye-bye.